I keep thinking about what the church is doing and how the church can do more. And by church, I don't mean a building or a church in specifically, but people. The church. We are the church. Believers are. And there's a lot of fear going around. There's a lot of caution, and there's wisdom in the caution. And I think fear is natural when you don't know what to expect. But it keeps pressing on me as what are we doing as believers to keep furthering the kingdom? Just because we came up with, just because we're struggling right now to meet in one building or one way, doesn't mean that we need to stop reaching the unreached. Stop going after the ones who aren't plugged into your church yet, or the ones who need help. And it keeps pushing on my mind. I feel like God's really laid it on my heart. And so I got to thinking. I was visiting with actually my sister this morning, and she encouraged me out of Matthew 25 when it says, if you don't do these, and I'll just read it here. Matthew 25 verse 45 says, I tell you the truth, whatever you do not do for the least of one of these, you do not do for me. And to go back, I'll read it in verse 42. It says, for I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison and you did not look after me. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison, and I did not help you? He will reply, I tell you the truth, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. And what Jesus is saying here is that just because it's not Jesus, just because it's not somebody in your church, doesn't mean that you shouldn't help them. It's difficult. We're all in a place right now where we don't know what to expect. We're all in a new realm. Homeschooling has been around for a while, but not everybody's been prepared to homeschool at this point. And that's kind of a new challenge for parents and for teachers. My heart goes out to the teachers who have kids that have to teach their kids in school, but as well, they have to teach their kids at home at some point, and they're all busy. We're all busy and trying to figure it all out, as well as trying to keep a good distance away from people. And so it's a challenge, but just because we're in a struggle, and just because we have an uphill challenge that we don't know, doesn't mean that we should stop loving God and loving others. I just keep going back to that, is how do I love God and love others during this time? And I think it's good to offer encouragement to people. It's good to be there for people, whether it's just a phone call or a text message or what have you. And me putting these devotions out aren't necessarily for everybody in the world to see. It's great if they do, but that's not the point. I just want to encourage those that know me to maybe then pass this on. Pay it forward's been a term that's been around for a long time. And how the pay it forward term came was like, if I do something good for these 3 people, then they do something good for the next 3 people. And so on and so forth. We're going to reach this many people, which is wonderful. That's really, in a bad way, that's how this virus has worked. It's reached 1 person, then spread to 10 people, and then spread to 10 people from those 10 people. And it accelerated. It really just took off. And that's what has put us all in this level of fear, which is understandable. I understand why you might be fearful, but I just want to encourage you today that if you know somebody that, think, if you're a student, think of somebody in school that, you didn't get to talk to all the time. Reach out to them, call them, direct message them, do whatever just to get a hold of them and just say, hey, I thought about you today. I hope everything's going well, but I've been thinking about you. Because, sometimes school was the only place you could go to see your friends. Or, how about your elderly grandparents? They should be in their house alone. Call them, talk to them, see how they're doing. And I'm not saying nobody's doing this. I think a lot of people probably are, but I just wanted to, I guess, put that out today that, although we may be struggling in some ways, there's a lot of good things in this time of trial. There's a lot of encouragement that can come either in your family, personally, or in other families. We can just reach out and we can still share the word. We can still share God's love and further his kingdom in this time. And don't make it so much about building a wall around your own life to protect yourself, which has some importance, but also make it about how can we reach out to others to let them see the love of God during this time? And how can we impact our communities without being in person? So anyways, I love y'all. Hope you guys get something out of today's message or devo, whatever you want to call it, and I hope it helps you just seek light in this time of darkness. So have a great day.